located. This meeting of the Board of Supervisors of Penn Township will now come to order. We will stand for a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, first thing on the agenda, there's been no executive sessions. We got solicitor's report. Rich Wagner would like to be out of here by 7:30 tonight. We have the recognition of visitors here with Chris Sanderson on, which is usually our first order of business. And I'd like to, some of the people I know here are about that particular issue down here. Maybe we can clear it up while Mr. Wagner's here and get beyond that. At the present time, there is no plan to be approved out there submitted at Rook Drive. The issue with Rook Drive has been going on for years, and I think if Helen would look, you'll find where I sent a letter out years ago to Mr. Mladenoff after several meetings that said the issue that needs to be taken care of out there is between the neighbors. It is not a township issue. When you have three different sets of plans, it shows three different surveys with three different directions, there's nothing that the supervisors or anybody can act upon. Rich has answered the question of the letter, of the answers, questions asked by the Planning Commission, and I talked to him here previously, and there's nothing that the township can act upon or do anything until those issues are resolved out there. And those issues are not a township matter, but an issue between the neighbors out there as to where they come from out there. So there's no plan can be approved or no plan at the present time, even on the table to be approved. Burgett asked it to be tabled and at the last Planning Commission, so yes, there's nothing there. And I know everybody has a concern that the supervisor is going to pass something, approve a plan, but there's nothing there to approve.
If I can elaborate that for a minute, Henry.
Sure.
The difficulty is we're now aware that there's a conflict in terms of lot lines. One plan has a set of lot lines establishing where the boundaries are. Another plan apparently is going to suggest it's a different set of lot lines. And so we have to respect the fact that there are a difference of opinion as to the location of the lot lines. The difficulty is that the township does not have the authority or jurisdiction to decide those lot lines. The township could say, well, the lot line's here. That's not binding on anybody. Only the court has the authority to do that. So when we become aware of that conflict, it puts us in a very precarious situation, because since we have no authority to decide what lot line is what, that has to be resolved first either by an agreement of the parties or some court action saying here's where the lot line is. And then once that's done, any plan that comes in with that either court-directed line or agreed upon line, we then can act on that plan. Anything prior thereto, we can't act on it because we don't have the authority to decide the appropriateness of the lot lines. Only a court can do that, or parties can agree. That's why when the Planning Commission sent the letter, Helen told me about it, my first response was, I don't think we have the authority to decide where the lot lines are. The only thing we can do is recognize that there's now a dispute as to that location. And secondly, there's no official plan in front of us to act upon anyway, so.
I have a question there. Is somebody trying to make the Planning Commission and the supervisors look foolish of years ago by approving those lots to be up there, which would be land bound with no right-of-way to public road?
Well, I don't know if anyone was attempting to make the Planning Commission or supervisors look foolish. It's not uncommon that municipalities, when presented with a plan, many times relies on the certification of the engineer and or surveyor who has done that plan to say that here's where the lot lines actually are, and municipalities then rely on that, approving plans, and those plans get recorded. It's when a subsequent plan comes in that challenges that initial determination that we become aware now that there is a lot, in this case, a boundary dispute that needs to be resolved. Now, secondly, when you talk about landlocked pieces of property, believe it or not, if we go back to 1857, we will find that the Pennsylvania legislature passed a law that talks about easements by necessity, where people who have landlocked pieces of property can seek the relief of a court, going into court and saying, my land is landlocked, I want you to give me a right-of-way, and the court will appoint a board of review consisting, I believe the statute says, a surveyor, I'm not sure it's a real estate appraiser and a layman, but they appoint 3 people who then will conduct a hearing and will decide where the property is to be, where the right-of-way is to be, and how much is to be paid. I remember that because I'm going to digress for 30 seconds. One of the very first cases I ever handled as a young, still wet behind the ears lawyer, in about 1977, a woman was in my office, I remember her distinctly, Wilhelmina Meinke, an old German woman, and her neighbor was suing her to get a right-of-way over her property. And she looked at me and she said, Mr. Wagner, I just want you to protect my rights, and she dropped dead. And so the image of that has kind of stuck with me when people talk about landlocked pieces of property. That's how I can remember the statutes, et cetera, et cetera. But that's what happens if property's landlocked. But in this particular case, 2 things. 1, we don't have a plan to act on, and 2, even if a plan comes forward, we're now alerted there apparently is a boundary dispute, and we don't have the authority to decide that boundary. So as much as they may want to, we don't have the authority. It's not binding on anybody. That has to be done either by agreement of the property owners or a court.
I have another question then too. Last week at about 9:15 in the morning, I was taking my mail out to the mailbox, and I seen a vehicle sitting up by Mr. Sanderson's land with a person in it. I didn't recognize the vehicle. I didn't know who it was. I walked up to it and was getting the license number. It was Joe Burgett. He got out of his vehicle. He approached me, which I probably aggravated him because I asked him what he was doing here rather gruffly. And he approached me and proceeded to punch me in the shoulder and tell me that he was going to call the law and have me arrested because this was private property. I stepped back from him, and he proceeded to go in and state that I had threatened his life, and that he had 7 witnesses that would testify to that fact, and punched me again. I left. I come in and called Helen. She transferred me to the police. I went back out to the end of the driveway and waited for the police to arrive. Meanwhile, he fled. He come down and give me a great big smile and a childish wave and left. When the policeman arrived, I explained the situation to him. He tried to calm me down and everything, which I guess he did. But I am not going to put up with those sorts of tactics.
I understand. That's in the that's in the bailiwick of the police department. The supervisors do not have the authority to order the police to arrest or not arrest, charge or not charge. That's solely within their bailiwick to make that determination based upon the investigation they conduct.
Okay, I just wanted to make it part of the public record.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Benner. I hope this gives a lot of answers to everybody out here that maybe we don't need to continue this dialogue any farther. We all know where we're at, and Rich has expressed that, and the issue needs to be settled between the landowners out there. That being said, I'd like to move on here so I can get Rich out of here. He has another meeting. You got a report here and a letter from the Planning Commission?
That's what this was.
Okay, this is the one?
That's the one,
okay,
yeah.
that's the one.
Yeah,
okay, I saw that over here on Helen's other side. Do you have any other thing to report, Rich?
Yeah. The township received a letter dated the 21st day of May concerning an incident on Mill Road. I would suggest the Township Supervisors authorize me to respond to that letter. I would note that the engineer and I went down and reviewed the area. We were unable to locate the 6-inch piece of metal. We understand, however, the chairman of the board did, and we also have become aware that the township secretary provided me with a certified copy of ordinance number 2007, ordinance number 2 of 2007, which designated this area in which this woman allegedly parked as a no parking area. Therefore, I don't think if someone violates the no parking area and decides to park there anyway, any damage to a vehicle would not be the responsibility of the township. And I would suggest the township authorize me to send such a letter.
I'll make a motion we authorize Rich to send a letter to response to that inquiry there from that lady.
I second.
Motion made with second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Anything else, Rich?
Do it.
I have one other thing here real quick you might be interested in. This time I'd like to recognize these two gentlemen back here. I believe it's from Fry Contracting, is it not? Fay. They're from Pittsburgh and they're working on the mountain down here. Going to start working on that. They asked if need to come tonight, and in case there's any questions, try to keep the questions limited. I met with them down here about staging area and working with them down there for anything they might need or anything to help. They're going to start working on this project, next week. In the interim, we're looking at a 2-week night shift got proposed. We're going to try to keep 2 lanes open at all the time. And the project's supposed to be done by the end of October, is it not? That's correct. Okay. So that answers a lot of questions that people were talking about. And the EMS meeting with the emergency responders is yet to be held with PennDOT, is it not?
Correct. It'll be sometime next week.
Sometime next week. Okay. So that project is underway. And I invited them here tonight. Does anybody have one quick question or 2 quick questions for these guys about anything that may be taking place? But they will be working on that. Yes, Stanley?
The actual date of start?
Monday.
Monday.
Thank you.
Okay? And I thank you guys for coming, and one more time, I look forward to working with you down there. They even volunteered to put me on a rope and a harness down there to help remove rocks down on the side of the mountain.
And the good news is, while you were working there this afternoon, the Pirates won 5-2.
So if you guys have anything you'd like to say, now's the time. I'm just trying to acknowledge you up front, so you don't need to sit through the rest of this boring meeting if you choose to leave.
I don't have anything else to say. I'll leave my business card up. I'll leave a stack of business cards up here if anyone wants to grab them. You're more than welcome to call me at any time. We're staying locally around here, so we're going to be here 24 hours a day if you need us.
Okay. Well,
What are
thank
you
you
doing?
Thank you.
for
Rock cut on the
Yes.
mountain right
When
here.
is the work being done?
starting Monday.
Starting Monday, and we'll be out there till October.
But what time?
Well,
During the night, during the day?
as it stands, most of our work will be done during the day, 7 to 5:30. We're looking at a night shift from starting at June 8th until June 19th for 2 weeks to fix up the northbound shoulder of 11 and 15.
Is it closed or just one
Once that
layer?
work is
Now they're gonna
complete, our
have 2
night
lanes
shift will
open.
be
Are they?
complete in
Yeah,
preparation for the
Riverside.
project.
Night shift?
Oh, that's good.
We're gonna move that back. Jerky bear.
Basically, we'll be
Keep 2
24 hours
lanes.
a day,
Oh, that's good.
Monday through Friday, to
I
try
don't know how
and
they
complete
do
that
it
work.
otherwise.
Yeah.
During the night shift is still 2 lanes?
Still 2 lanes, that's correct. Yeah, we'll never be a G2 on this project.
I
There
know,
might
because
be
a lot
some
of business
temporary
people
flagging during,
are upset about it.
the lower, lighter traffic hours, from like 8:30 to 3:30
Okay.
in the afternoon, and then, from 6 to 8:30, then from 3:30 to 5:30, we'll always have 2 lanes open, no
I put that.
small flag, nothing,
No weight restriction.
Thank you.
no.
Will there be any communications between emergency vehicles, fire, ambulance, police, or anything like that? So we know they're coming, so you can clear the road ahead of time.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming.
Thank you,
Leave.
appreciate it, thank you.
You bet. Thanks for coming, showing an interest.
I'll leave my cards up front if anyone wants.
Okay? Richard?
Thank you.
I'm going to ask one question. If there's anything else, and I'll let you go.
You've
Is there
already
anybody
ward.
else has anything on the floor that may involve questioning for Solicitor
The ward,
Wagner?
the ward property, is that forwarded?
Just table that.
Hearing none, Rich,
Thank you. Next meeting.
get to your other meeting. Thank you. Start down the list, Libby.
The Sandersons?
Pardon?
The Sandersons?
I think Miss Anderson, Miss Sanderson, do you have anything to say? I think maybe your question might have been answered that you were here, or you guys still offered some comments?
Yeah, I kind of prepared a statement here. I'll just leave this with you guys.
Okay.
Now, some of the stuff that you had talked about was covered in
Okay.
my
Chris,
concern.
yes. Sanderson. He's on the agenda. It's not her. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm over here, so I feel like I'm talking to everyone. My name's Chris Sanderson. My wife Candace and I live on 16 Rupp Road. We lived there for about 5 years, and we bought our property from Gail and Ed Hoke, if any of you are familiar with them. Some of the things I had wanted to talk about, there's been a lot of, I guess, controversy and things over the years that we've heard different neighbors talking about, and there's a lot of discrepancies, so we actually took it upon ourselves to come into the township and look at the records, get some records, and kind of determine if we could figure out the history for ourselves, what is fact and not necessarily hearsay. Mr. Hallman touched on some of the things I had wanted to talk about, so there's really no need to go into further detail about them, but there's some things on my list that were not discussed. During the last Planning Commission meeting, one of the topics of discussion was the question of the 3 residences on a private drive. My understanding is that you can only have 3 properties or 3 residential dwellings on a private drive. And to our understanding, number 12, number 14, and number 16 Rupp Road make those 3 residences. During the last Planning Commission meeting, it was kind of stated that because number 12 has Rupp Road frontage, that they were not included in part of that calculation. We just wanted to verify from the township what the official stance is on that. Also, at the Planning Commission meeting, we found out that there is a prospective buyer for the 18 acres on the top of Rupp Road. And we found out through direct discussion with that individual that they plan to put an orchard up there that's going to be a pick-your-own orchard open to the public. I don't know how many of you live on Rupp Road or are familiar with Rupp Road, but it's a very narrow road. It's a 33-foot right-of-way, but the actual road itself is probably 20 feet wide. So when you actually pass a vehicle on the road, you both have to give way. There's some blind spots coming around corners that, you know, just our comings and goings with our own neighbors, we've had close calls with, you know, running into vehicles. And that's just, you know, us driving slow on our own residential road. So we had some real big concerns that, you know, Rupp Road is a no outlet, single lane residential road that contains 9 properties. Rupp Road is used solely by these residents to exit and enter their homes. Rupp Road is not designed to handle the volume of traffic that this endeavor could create. And then even taking it further off of Rupp Road, we have the 3 homes on that private drive that now essentially that's going to be open to the public. So we have between Floyd and Sue Smith and my wife and I, we take care of that driveway. We put stones on it, we maintain it, we mow it, we plow it. And I don't know anyone in here that would want public traffic coming up their private drive that they maintain. So we had some big concerns about that. And I guess that just compounds all these other issues that surround Rupp Road even further. So we took it upon ourselves to kind of educate ourselves on the history of Rupp Road, and we were asking that the Planning Commission, the Township, that they not take any action until these problems are sorted out. Whether, what plan comes in front of you, and Henry, you kind of, touched on that there is no current plan. You don't have the authority to take action because there is discrepancies between landowners in there as to who owns what right-of-way is where. But I guess I just wanted to kind of reiterate that or reinforce that. So some of the other information on here I didn't touch on because you had already talked about that and I didn't want to go over that again, but I wanted to leave you with copies so it's kind of entered in the official minutes, and you all have a chance to kind of look at our concerns. And these are concerns that we actually discovered from township records, not from people telling us this or that. So, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, and your questions to this, I'm not going to endure the evening here.
Yeah. We could spend the rest of the evening talking about this.
I'll take those questions, I'll submit my answers to what I know about it to the other two supervisors for them to take a look at. There is a question or two in there that needs to go to Solicitor Wagner in regards to it. I think I know the answer to it, but I will do that properly.
Here, if you
and
want
we
to
will
give him a copy.
Take your public comments here tonight and respond to you in this letter.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you have one copy? Thank you. I would have made you a copy.
Okay.
It's okay. Do extras. All right.
Rest of public comment time.
Roxanne? Mr. Benner, anything else? Okay. Jesse, or, oh, I'm sorry, no, it's James Boyer? Who was there? 2 Rupp Road.
I don't.
Okay.
We just don't want nothing to slide in back there like the turkey pen did. Nobody told us about the turkey pen, and they went back to the back of the road. Now we have to put up with the feathers and the smell in the summertime off those turkey pens. I wanted to know why they didn't bring out upon the people that live back in that area, on Rupp Road and on Packer Road, that the turkey pens were going in. It was never brought up to us. They were just put in, and there they are, and we're the ones that has to put up with it. Why can't they put something over those trucks when they go out that those feathers don't look like it snowed after they take a load of turkey out? That's getting to be a big pain back here. You have to go out and gather turkey feathers up from that. That's not right. Okay?
Heard your comments, we'll respond to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, you bet.
Okay, Wayne Loper?
I think,
Okay. Okay, and Candace, you guys have anything else? Okay. Cece?
Yes, 2 things. First, Mr. Sanderson's questions and concerns bring something to mind from last month. Now, I didn't see any correspondence, but I'm understanding that there's some concern that there's a plan on the books. Last month, there was action with the Planning Commission for a DEP mailer for Mladenov's
Yes.
plan.
Mm-hmm.
And there was action taken on that for a non-building waiver for the orchard.
Yes.
How does that figure into all of this? Are we moving ahead with something for an orchard that in anticipation of without the rest of the residents being aware of? Just bringing that to the front here for some consideration.
I think CC, the mailer they're talking about is where they want to build a house up by the hangar.
No.
No?
No.
No, this is for
No.
the lot
It's a
now.
non-building
For the
waiver.
water?
Yes, it's a non-building non-building waiver for this lot for a DEP approval.
For a DEP
Approval of for an agricultural use for a non-building waiver. That's
Okay.
what it's called?
And is that the only thing that was in regards to the mail covered?
Yes,
Okay.
that was the only thing.
That was the only thing? Okay. So it's not like we're sending a mailer in here for an online system or something like that?
No, I know, but still, there's
Okay.
action on a proposed, not necessarily a plan, but there's something being proposed and there's action being taken on it.
And they asked, I wasn't here, but I think from what I understand, they asked for that waiver at the planning commission, and the planning commission had no problem with that they sent it, so if there was action taken upon that.
Just for us
There was.
at this board, for it to be signed and sent to DEP.
Okay.
That was it. Just like we do all the other non-building waivers and modules.
There was action taken last month for Helen to send the mailer.
Yes.
Peters made the motion, Brian McGuire seconded.
Yes.
Thanks for bringing them attention, Cece. I'll see them get out of it for you.
You're welcome. It's only fair to these folks to know.
Can you answer what entity at DEP that was submitted to?
It'd be a septic sewer, did I bring his plan? Oh, let me think here. I don't know if I have his plan here. I don't know, no.
Take a look at that, Cece.
I will,
Get your name.
I'll get you that information.
The other thing I have on that, not pertaining to that, but one other thing. Henry, any idea of a start date on the schoolhouse road project?
Which one? There's so many of them.
South End.
South
Pipe.
End. Okay. I have the pipe, Cece. Okay? Have the pipe to do that down there. I promise you that that project down there will get done this year before I'm out of office.
This is 3 years that this is to have been done. This was in 12
Okay.
that PennDOT mandated this, and I can't mow it. I've lost sneakers. It's, you know,
Okay.
as dry as it's been, it's a swamp.
Okay.
I'm gonna lose a shed. I am absolutely gonna lose a shed.
As a matter of fact, Cece, I'm going to tell you one more time. I mentioned it to you a couple months ago, or a month or two ago, that I bought the pipe. The pipe's here. It's a matter of getting down there, finding time to get it done. I have a road to pave on Linton Hill out here that we're trying to get on. We get chased out with the rain. That has to be prepared for paving. As a matter of fact, I put a call in the handmaker today to see if they can back me off a date so that I can buy some of that time. They're not helping.
Yes, you did.
And I'm trying to buy some time on that road project out there late in the summer so that we can catch on some of those other ones. That's one of them. I have another one out here that Max and us looked at tonight that ought to be taken care of also. Don't have the pipe for that, but it's another problem situation to yours that has to be done. And so that part of it there, there's been an awful lot of conversation about that down there, and I'll say, yes, I know it's on tap. And I'm not giving any past conversation about any of that down there or what took place in that down there, although I'm doing our best to get it done. It's not going to be a simple project.
I disagree, but
Well, we'll see if we can get through those rocks. We'll see. We'll see when we start digging. Okay?
thank you.
Anybody else? Next.
Mr. Gauss. Mrs. Gauss. Craig.
Very quickly. I have no written report. Henry, I trust that you received our written report submitted last month. I believe that answered many of the questions for 2014.
Well, I'd still like to have those answered one for one as I submit it to them. Greg, that's very confusing, by golly. Those questions, one for one, and I submitted to you, was I was looking for answers.
Okay.
And you should be able to answer them in plain form, just the way they were, not incorporated in the large report.
Okay. Well,
I appreciate
my
that.
point was that they're now, most of those answers are now included in the report going forward based on your request, which is what I indicated last month.
I'd still like to see that.
Okay. Second thing is we've had, I believe, 6 calls in the month of May, or the first 27 days of May, in that 209 box between vehicle crashes and medical calls, and we've handled all of them to date, so it's been a busy month. We figured on average we'd have 4 per month based on the 44 to 48 calls in that district per year, but we've had 6 already in 27 days, so we're we're handling them all, and you know, certainly that's not a guarantee all the time. We have an ambulance out in the middle of another incident, but our intention is to continue to cover all first calls as called. So just want to give you an update there. Our subscriptions did go out in the middle of April for a May 1 start date. There were some questions from some of the residents in that area because initially the action had been taken, but the letter hadn't gone out from the township, so we were kind of waiting until that very last minute to answer those questions fully. So if there are any issues or any questions, please let us know. And as always, if there's anything we can do for you, please let us know. Thank you for your support.
Greg, I have a question of you. With the referendum that was on the Marysville ballot asking for non-binding, the Borough Council doesn't meet until, I believe, next week or the week after next. If they do agree to do that tax increase down there to support the ambulance service, bringing it back to Marysville, do you have issues with Marysville taking that area back over?
No,
if requested
no.
with the Board of Supervisors?
Whatever, I mean, it makes sense to have the closest available unit to cover that as first call. Obviously, if that unit's not available for whatever reason, staffing or on call, whatever the case may be, you know, we're still available to back it up as had been prior to May 1. But certainly if they're closer to that area, that makes sense.
All right, thank you, sir.
The challenge is obviously staffing. I would assume that if they're going to put a unit in service, that unit's going to be staffed 24/7. Whereas Marysville is really scheduled only Monday through Friday, 6 to 6. So there were still evenings, overnights, and weekends that weren't covered. So, you know, we'll gladly work with however they work that. If they look for an outside vendor to provide that service, so someone like East Pennsboro, Life Team, in Pinnacle, or Holy Spirit EMS, or if they're looking for, you know, to do their own program, we can certainly support that. Good. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
Jesse Boyer? Jesse?
Maybe later, but not at this time.
Okay.
Jesse, you got something that's on the agenda, ask it now, please.
Maybe later, but not at this time.
I'm not going to recognize you. If you're not on the agenda,
I just want to hear what's going on later
okay,
about some questions that I asked before.
okay,
Henry?
yes,
This Henry.
Not at this time.
okay.
Stanley?
Yeah, a couple. One on the ambulance service, you talked about Marysville. So if Marysville is going to raise taxes to help pay for their new service, and then they take on the lower end of Perks again, will they raise the taxes to the Perks residents to help pay for that?
No, because we didn't participate, Stanley, when we were asked by golly and taking a look at putting on the ballot in the township for that. That question was asked. I was at a meeting for that.
Okay.
Okay? They wanted to know whether we would participate in that at one time. Remember, Craig?
Yes.
You were there that night. And as to whether we would be willing to put it on the ballot to raise this money, I think that I wish them luck in their endeavor, but I know it's going to be a tough sell. Shaking your head, yeah, it's probably a tough sell.
I'm not sure what their millage is. I remember some numbers in December being
They had
discussed.
terrible numbers what it was going to cost and didn't know how they would even.
But just if you do the
Yep.
very simple math, but not counting insurance,
Yep.
vehicles, equipment, you're
Yep.
looking at over $200,000 just in payroll
Yep.
for 24/7 coverage.
24/7 coverage, yeah.
Staff.
That was astronomical numbers. That was. Okay, next.
I'm not done yet.
Oh,
Sorry. This one's for Chief Pickles. My understanding that there is grant money through Perry County available to the local police departments in Perry County, which we only have 2, for drug enforcement. Why has Penn Township not applied for any of this money?
Grant
Yes, sir.
through Perry County.
Yes, sir.
I wasn't aware of.
Okay, I'll continue on. This came from Chad, the DA. Chad told me that Penn Township refused the money. That it was said that we
No.
didn't need it here.
Oh, no, that's drug task force. That's what they're talking about. They wanted us to supply officers for the drug task force. And we aren't able to. We're taking care of our own area.
That's, we won't get into that. So you're telling me you'll take grant money to ticket people for not wearing a seatbelt, but you won't take grant money to send people into Perry County to help fight drugs?
It's not.
Which heroin is running rampant?
And it's not grant money. It's their task force is what it is.
Okay, so they're gonna pay they'll pay your officers to go help with their drug task force. It doesn't cost Penn Township anything.
We didn't, and we didn't get into all that. We've talked to, I've talked to, I think, when Newport had officers there, they didn't get paid, and they don't pay all their insurances, and if an officer got hurt during that time, Penn Township would have to take care of his unemployment. So, I mean, there's a lot more involved, Stanley, than
Well,
just
I'm sure there
doing
is.
that. And to take an officer from Penn Township and the borough and send them up to Newport because they're having some big problems because they don't have a department out there.
Not Newport,
and send
Perry
them
County.
down.
This is
well,
Perry County.
yeah. Well, Penn Township and the borough have problems also.
We got a very large problem, I understand.
And that's what we're handling.
How many drug arrests have we had in the last year?
I don't have exact numbers.
We need to put a right to know in?
I suppose you could, actually go online and you can look it up on the UCR too.
I'll do that. I mean, what upset me was Chad said they actually had to send money back to the state that wasn't used in the county.
Well, that's a conversation between you and Chad. He never had a conversation like that with me.
Your name came up.
Well,
I didn't pull your name out of the hat.
Yeah, well, of course my name would come up, but he never mentioned any of that stuff to me.
No, that isn't what he told me. That's why I'm asking you. That's why I directed the question to you. So.
I'll get a meeting with him in January.
Thank you.
Next.
Byron?
Yeah, our tanker's back in service. Came back a couple of weeks ago. And we submitted a copy of the financial report last month sometime. I forget when I brought it up to Helen.
Day after, I
And
think.
If there's any questions on that. That's about it.
And I just want to take a moment to thank Byron for inviting me down to the firehouse, and as requested was that I had an opportunity to look at the finances of the firehouse and everything. And it was a really good day. I think it was productive, and looking forward to working with you.
That invitation's open to all three of you up there at any time, any place. Like I said, we're open to all of you for everything. Any questions, concerns, don't hesitate, don't let them stew. Contact myself or our president and we'll get you your answers. Keep the line of communication open. I think that makes for healthy relationship.
Mr. Fickle? Susie Invinger? Hmm?
Yeah.
You want to talk? Talk.
I wasn't expecting to be called.
You signed in.
We're here about, we're down at Leonard's Oak World.
Oh.
And, yeah, you're aware.
Okay, this is under the zoning with the setting up of the conditional use hearing.
Yeah.
So, just so you know where we're at on the agenda.
Okay. So all we need to do is set a date for that.
Yes.
Yeah. Pretty simple. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, and then Jeff?
Is that all we need to do?
That's all you
need?
need?
Look at none of our paperwork we got
Not
from
tonight.
the state or nothing like?
No. Get the use permit first for it, then you proceed with the rest of your stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but first,
How do we come to that?
well, they'll set that date later on the agenda.
We'll set that date for that hearing.
Okay.
Okay?
So we'll stick around to hear the date?
Yes.
Okay.
Can we respectfully ask that it be submitted quickly and processed quickly? As Kevin said, a local daycare is closing down and 38 students are displaced. And we need to
They're asking to set the date as soon as possible.
Okay.
You can do that under the zoning portion. Arlene, the same thing. Peters?
Yes.
Okay. And then Leonard's is here, and Bob.
Nothing to do, fine, thank you.
Who did I miss? I know I missed somebody. No, Lester? Sir?
Okay.
You have anything to say? Okay.
Anybody else?
No, I guess that's it.
Okay, invoices and expenditures before you for rejection or approval.
You got the two numbers, Brian? You got the two check numbers?
Yes.
Okay.
Other than the normal operating bills, we had to pay our annual contract for our software this month. And we also paid for some repairs to one of the trucks.
Also, the check from Pliget from last month's return bill needs to be approved this month because Brian abstained due to his
Okay.
working there. It was paid, they just have to get it approved.
And what was that check number?
28261. It's the top one on the top of the list there, Brian, under Pliget.
I make the motion that checks be issued. Also to approve check number 28261. That was hanging from last month. To be paid.
Okay, motion made, I'll second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
I accept that I abstain from voting on check number 28261 and check number 28341, as I am employed by our two associates and to the potential for a conflict of interest.
Okay. Treasurer's report. Before you for rejection or approval.
We received a quarterly payment for the local services tax. And also we received a check from Blue Ridge Cable for the franchise fee.
First quarter.
Yeah,
For
quarterly.
first quarter payment.
Anything else, Libby, in regard to that? What is the wish of the board for approval of the treasurer's report?
I make the motion that we approve the report pending audit.
Okay, motion been made to approve the report subject to audit. I'll second. Go ahead.
I second the motion.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent saying aye. Ayes have it. Your treasurer's report. You have before you the minutes for April the 29th, 2015, conditional use, April the 29th, 2015. I would like to put those before the board since I wasn't here for approval of those two particular minutes. Before you for the approval for the April 29th and for those two sets of minutes. I hear a motion in a second.
I make the motion that we accept all minutes from April 29, 2015, the Saleh conditional use hearing. Also the Board of Supervisors regular meeting, May 29, 2015. And also the special on May 14th, referencing to the Act 457 and the Susquehanna School District.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Susquehanna School District. Oh, you mean with the...
Yes.
Okay. The minutes.
Okay, I call for the motion on the first two. Motion made with a second. I will abstain because of not being here during those minutes that night. Okay, the motion to approve the first two and May 14th, which I will vote to go with that, but I abstain from the other two.
Do we get to vote too, so?
All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Thank you. Okay, you have before you the highway report. Highway report. We finally got the Highland washout completed down here in Highland where the road was falling down on 274. Took a while between the rains to get it done. Tried not to get involved down there that we had any more of a washout, but we brought that up, put a good barrier in there, poured a curb, and the heaviest rain we had, that worked. That was the first time that I can remember in a long time that we don't have no water down over the bank into 274. We poured a curb down there. If we get time the rest of the year, we'd like to extend that curb so that the rest of that road that wants to slide down on 274 will be protected from the same thing. I asked anybody to get down and take a look at the job that's done now, and the two road crew boys who poured that curb are pretty proud of what it looks like and how it ended up. And so it's something that was been a problem, has been filled in, I don't know how many times, washed away, filled back in. That wasn't the answer. It took a lot of work though and a lot of time to get it where it's at. Urge you to get down and take a look at it. We had bad heavy rain. We've had several of them here. One of them took us 2.5 days to go around and clean out all the culverts and all the debris and places where banks were down out on the road that we never had before. We had to go around and scoop them up. Catch basins, and we have several areas out on faculty that we're aware of out there where we had some replacement out there where the shoulder washed away. That's yet to be done. That's on the agenda. We did repair a washout on Sawmill down there where the water comes down the road, goes across, and started down over the bank, deed out underneath the road. We repaired that one. And the entrance to schoolhouse down here, we've got PennDOT come down and finally cleaned that gutter out down there. We would like to fix those holes. We will as soon as we can. I'd like to advise the board, it may take Saturday work with the work crew to do that because of the amount of traffic that goes in and out of there. There's hardly any way that we can patch, put blacktop in there, or cement it, which I've thought about. The holes are huge. I talked to PennDOT. It is our responsibility on the joint, and we will take care of it. But it may take Saturday work when we have less traffic down there and don't have those big concrete trucks and stuff going out. There's no way that you can physically get down there and work on it. And so you see us down there some Saturday morning. It's not because the boys want overtime. It's a necessity to get the job done. We York raked the dirt road out on Linton Hill. We started preparing the shoulders and got them in, rolled it in down on the dirt section. We trimmed back all the brush to the end of the dirt section. We still have the brush to trim down that road down there on the blacktop and the lower end still to do. We still have 3 culverts out there to dig up and replace before this road's paved. And we have the material and whatnot, trying to find dry enough time out there to get it done. We took our time out here and trimmed the weeds and the brush behind the township shed out here and on the banks out here for the rec board and the bank out back. We took care of that out for you down out here, and we're going to have to try to do something maybe a little more permanent. That is a tough bank that the boys weed whipped out there today. We get started repair on schoolhouse on some cracking down there, some alligating cracking to get rained out, but tomorrow and Friday we will continue on those repairs. I have here that I met with that contractor, and of course he asked after I had the report done here as to where they were. So those gentlemen are looking forward to, they asked me whether we had any problem with using that portion of the township road down at Dead End and Tubby's for a staging area. Goes nowhere, it's cleaned up. They're putting their stuff down there. It's no effect to us, or it doesn't cause Chubby's and them out there, Tubby's down there anything, and they already got coordination with them that it wouldn't impact their parking down there. So that seems to be working out very congenially. These guys have shown a big effort, by golly, to want to try to work and make this project work down here without a lot of hassle. And we do have a complaint here about the out of YMCA, and I'll have to get with Mr. Pickles. We have someone from the police department out there. We've got a bad sight distance out there, and another problem out there. It's a situation that's hard to deal with the landowner involved, but that has to be taken care of going in out there. You cannot pull out of YMCA without pulling out in Delville Road to look both ways. So I'll be getting with him on that. That complaint came in today. So didn't have time to put that in there, but we will be dealing with that. So we have that. The crutch of where we're at with the highway. I did have Max out tonight to take another look at a culvert down here where I thought the need was to take a look at it, mainly for calculus against the old galvanized corrugated pipe in there and what the increase of flow be with smooth bore, and to maybe put two of them side by side because we have limited amount of space or drop going across the road to put an 18-inch or a big single in there. And we won't be able to get the road coverage if we do that. So we took a look at that. Max gave me the coverage here, and I have to get down there and shoot some grades for Max to see whether we can get a 1%, 2% pitch across there, take care of that water problem. A similar one, CC, as yours. And so we're doing our best to get to them. And I did call Handmaker today, still waiting a call from them to see if they can back me up or give me a time that they need out here. I need another month, by golly, doing road things right now before I start working on that out there, and I don't want to get behind. They want to move in, and they want to pave out there, and I don't have the road ready. I'm in trouble. They have the right to do it, you know. But they usually work with you pretty well on that. That's all I have for the highway report. Penn Township Planning Commission.
You have the Joseph and Mary Lou Chippy Chop and Paul Wolf subdivision plan. This planning commission recommending approval of 3 AORs and the plan with 2 contingencies. This is basically giving one lot giving another lot access because their driveway's already crossing their lot, so they're just giving that portion of it to them. They're just adding acres to lot 3, Max? Okay. That's probably the same thing. Yeah, that's it. No, you just stopped it. There.
Okay.
Thank you.
Our site's located at the intersection of Route 274 and Linton Hill. It would be the southwesterly side of Linton Hill. Basically, Lot 1 is owned by Joseph Chicky Chop and Mary Lou Chicky Chop, and Lot 2 and Lot 3 are owned by Paul A. Wolf. The 2 owners have come to agreement to basically, Paul A. Wolf would like to buy 50 foot along his 2 lots, extending the whole way to Linton Hill Road, to not only add his driveway so it's on his property, but so that there's not a funky lot line in there for Lot 1. That's pretty much it. There were some county comments and some waivers.
That's the plan that I was at the planning commission meeting, and the only reason why I didn't proceed is we didn't have the comments back from the county.
Yes. Yes.
I have county comments with me.
Yeah, pardon?
I have county comments with me.
Yeah, they got them back to us, which seems satisfactory. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, before the plan before you, with the request for the AORs, what is the wish of the board on approval of that plan? Looking for approval to approve the 3 AORs. Subject to section 306, 309, and 309A7. 309A.
I move that those 3 AORs be approved. Do I need to restate the section numbers in the motion?
I got them.
No, got it. Okay. Motion been made.
I second.
Motion made and second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. You have 2 items there for a contingent upon the following items being completed. What is the wish of the board to accept the 2 items for the contingent items being completed with the plan?
And all fees paid.
Pardon?
And all fees paid.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
You want a separate motion for the contingencies? Is that what you're asking?
Contingency and the rest of it that goes with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I move that we approve the Joseph D. and Mary Lou Chicky Chop and Paul Wolf Final Subdivision Plan, file number 2015-03, contingent upon the following items being completed. The plan sheets shall be signed and sealed by the surveyor. And 2, the certification of title and dedicatory statement shall be signed and notarized. And also subject to all fees being paid.
Go ahead, excuse me, before we have a second. Do you agree to those conditions as a representative of the client?
Yes.
Okay.
I second.
Okay, motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
Can we have your name? Cody. And who's he with? Burgett.
Okay. Thank you, young man.
Thank you.
Okay. Zoning report.
You have that before you. He did some certificate of occupancies for a couple plans. Attended the zoning hearing board hearing for the carpenter. And issued some permits.
Today, the Board of Supervisors wish to be a party to the hearing for the zoning hearing board on the Hunter Lewis docket. It's a very simple one. For my part.
It's basically a setback
Yes.
problem. This is One Penn Manor right over here.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If you look at it, it's behind, the garage is behind the house. Unfortunately, the road curves, so number-wise, it's not.
Not for me, thank you.
Pardon?
I don't wish to be party.
Okay.
No, you
Okay.
Okay.
That one's been regularly, I'll put it in the form of a motion that the supervisors did not wish to be party to this hearing due to the nature of this one. Do I hear a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion made with second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
Okay, the next thing I have is the conditional use that I think about a quarter of the people are here for. What you guys have to do is set a hearing date.
Okay.
Our 60-day time limit is 7/16. The earliest day we could have a hearing would be the 18th of June, because of the advertisement requirements.
Okay.
So this is when you ask for that. If you want to ask for something, this is when you do it.
As soon as possible, please.
Okay. And any date would suit you folks?
As
Yep.
early as possible.
Oh, as
please.
early as possible.
See, the daycare's closing up here, so they're gonna have kids that don't have places to go.
The only question we have is availability for Rich, who should be here to conduct that
Yes.
hearing, so that it's proper and everything's done properly. I'll make a motion that we conduct this at the earliest date possible after we can have one, Helen.
Okay.
And you make contact with Solicitor Wagner for the earliest date that he can accommodate us for a hearing. And does anybody of the other two supervisors maybe hung up with the time in case he could have it during the day?
I'll work my schedule out.
Okay, I can work my schedule out. Brian?
No problem.
Okay. Forward that information to Rich.
Okay.
Try to get an earliest date we possibly can, and we'll notify you of the date. Okay? Thank you very much. How's that?
That's great.
Okay?
Okay, and that's all I have under zoning.
Okay, Sheriff Enforcement Officer report.
That's it, you're done. Okay. You have his May report. Okay. And also, we have a holding tank contract renewal for Sassy. This is a kids' soccer game out at the YMCA.
Have they submitted, Helen?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
They have listed their pumper and everything?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yes, they use, who do they use here? Advanced Septic Services, out of Landisburg.
Okay. What is the wish of the board granting that permit? For continuing, another 2 years?
Another 2 years.
Another 2 years, okay.
And they have an escrow of $200. Just FYI.
So payment of the escrow has to be a condition of the approval? Is that what you're...
Well, the escrow is there until we tell them no more escrow or they get rid of the holding tank.
So all we need to do is just approve the holding tank.
Yeah, the new contract or renewal.
It's a cleaning contract, is it?
Yes.
That we're approving, right?
Yes.
The tank's already in place.
It was
Yeah.
put in brand new 07, was that 07? When was that?
So I move we
08.
approve the retaining tank cleaning contract for Sassy Soccer Park.
Motion made, I'll second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. So,
Okay.
Marsteller holding tank renewal.
This was tabled after our meeting with questions.
Okay?
Excuse me,
Yes.
it was tabled after the meeting?
I
It
was-
was acted on.
It was acted on, they made a motion, and by consensus, they told me not to send the SEO out.
Okay.
Within the confines of the meeting, that was a motion that was made and approved.
Yes. And next day I believe it was, it was a consensus from the three of them not to send the SEO out.
Cece, I went back and took a look at that when I heard the next day after the meeting what happened. And of course, the question on that holding tank down there, we have the documentation clear back in 10. And of course, we couldn't expect anybody to remember exactly what was. So we dug up the information. That tank was inspected by Lenny before they went into business in 2010 in May. We have the records here, we have the reports here. That was all done. It was all done properly. They have a holding tank down there that's in use. And at the same time, while we were there, I understand there was discussion about the equipment and whatnot, and there's letters here on Marsteller also about whether they got permit. I don't know who raised all that issue, but nevertheless, the part on the equipment and et cetera down there is also addressed. We have the letters here that we're taking a look at, and because it was equipment, did not require a permit for them putting additional equipment in there. All that documentation is here, is on file, and is on record, and was all taken care of in a timely manner when it happened. So what you have down there at the holding tank for Marstello's down there, before they could ever get an occupancy permit, before they could even operate or open up, they had to have that tank inspected and approved, and the paperwork's all here for that.
Okay, I wasn't questioning
Okay, so
the inspection. That was brought up last month, and that was a whole different story. That involved other things. So I wasn't questioning whether their holding tank was ever inspected.
okay, but
We got into a discussion about the fee. Who pays the fee for the inspection?
well, as it's always been, and all through the duration of time you were here, whenever we send the SEO out like that, the township pays for them. That is correct. And you take a look at that. My neighbor says, old Henry over there, he got a sewer problem. And the supervisors say, I'm going to send the SEO out there, and they find nothing. And then they're going to send me a bill. The guy's got a problem. You don't go out in a case like that down there and just go out. If you're going to do that, and you need to do that with every septic tank and everyone that's in this township, everyone, and say we're going to have inspection.
I was not the one, just for the record. I was
Okay,
not the one that
I understand.
questioned that. That was
Yeah.
brought up
And we checked
By a
CC.
non-resident.
Okay, we checked to see whether there's any ordinance in effect where any other municipalities or anything do that type of thing that they make the residents pay. No, there isn't that we can
I
find.
did not find any
help?
at PSATs.
So
no.
we done as much on that as what we possibly could. And so then I came back in and we took a look at, and I knew a couple other holding tanks, and she went back through them. She dug them up. They're on record. The one there at the antique barn has one there. That's coming up for renewal.
August.
When?
August.
August. And we've taken a look at all of them that's out there that we know of, and they're all in compliance and all up to date and will be up for renewal. There's a log. It's all there. It's all there. Yes, Jesse?
So Morsteller didn't need a building permit for that second plant either?
It's termination here, Jesse, the paperwork's here. He was sent out and called about that on, you know, in regards to that. It didn't go
Who was sent out?
our zoning officer to make a
Okay.
determination as to whether this was done. This was done October the 17th, 2012. And on this issue that he addressed this is, 2 pages of it here in regards to that. It's equipment replacement, and therefore it was his determination that there's not a building permit needed for an additional to that. Now, the only thing that they may have is electrical with UCC or something like that.
That was not inspected.
You see what I'm saying?
I asked the UCC inspector if he inspected that, and he said he did not.
Okay.
The second one, no, he did not.
What's that?
The second,
The second
Yeah,
plant.
and that was my question, you know, as to whether that had done, whether they followed through with that.
Well, if there's no building permit needed, they can do what they want
That's correct. Yes.
to avoid inspections and everything else.
And so there was, he listed as equipment, you know, and that's what he has here. I agree there's not a building, and yeah, instead of wasting time on it, get a copy of it, Jesse, on his report, you know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I tried to make sure, but that was on file, we have it documented, and that was the decision why that was allowed to go in that way. Okay?
Yes.
Now, what about the decision, do you want to rescind it? I talked to Brian the next morning in regards to sending the SEO out and spending township money to inspect the holding tank down at Marstella's. Talked to Brian about it. There was a consensus that since we had the paperwork that it was he was no different than anybody else that had a holding tank. And so, in order to correct that, you need to be made more part of the minutes that it was a consensus conformed by the supervisors that it was unnecessary because all the documentation was in place. And I'll make that in a form of motion, ask for a second to rescind what was done a month ago in regards to that.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. It was a long time span in between some of those things. It's hard to remember the night of a meeting whether it was done or whether it wasn't done. But they could not got an occupancy permit without that.
correct.
To even operate without having storage facilities there of some kind. They used the existing tank, yes.
No, I don't care about that. That wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
I have a problem with they can put in a second plant down there with no building permit, and some guy wants to put in about an 8x4 coal bin, he has to pay $75 for a permit. It's, my statement last month was, it just seems like there's too many sets of rules. After we got the spiel a couple months before that, that we're not going to do that anymore.
Well, I guess all I can tell you is in regards to this was it was brought to our attention. We checked on it, we pursued it, and the report came back from him that was his recommendation. You know what I'm saying? From Lenny.
The zoning.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay. And so you have that here, Jess. That was the reason why.
But no electrical inspection was needed either, I guess.
Well, I question some of that.
I question too. 480 volts?
You know what I'm saying? I question some of that as to whether there's something there that's missed but if they're tying into others down there and who done the electrical work or et cetera, is it required? And you need to talk to him down there, to the UCC code inspector, and explain to him the whole thing, Helen, as is it required under that circumstance.
Thank you.
That's the best I can do.
That's
for you.
why I wanted to talk later.
Yeah, and that's why I had all that dug up to make sure that all that information was here.
Could I get a copy of that then?
Sure, you bet.
Yes, yes.
And
I'll get that for you,
so
Jesse.
it wasn't glossed over, it wasn't pushed over, it was taken a look at the time. And there is a record here and a follow-up on all the holding tanks for whoever may have an interest in that they follow through with that. Okay?
Okay. The next one is they have submitted for 2015 a portable toilet contract. Marsteller still.
When was that submitted, if I may ask?
That came in, I'm looking here. Okay, Marsteller. That should have been, it was after the last meeting. I know that. I'm just looking for the date.
That's 4/15/15 or
Oh,
4/14/15?
well, that's when they,
Is that what it is?
that's when they sent it back to me. Oh, here, let's see. They gave this to me at 5/7, it looks like. That must have been when I faxed it to them.
I'm talking about.
The portable John,
Yeah,
Porter John.
Exhibit B?
Yes.
Yeah, it was 4/14?
Yeah, that's when they gave it to me, after signatures.
Okay, what is the wish of the board in granting permit for the portage on
I move we approve the Marsteller Oil and Concrete Portable Toilet Cleaning Contract.
Okay, motion made, I second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Question.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
Okay.
Okay, Penn Township Park and Rec Board report.
Yes, I just have a couple of things. We've been doing a lot of work on the grounds. One, I would like to ask permission from the supervisors to donate $100 check to Duncannon Fire Company for their support and help with our chicken barbecue.
I make the motion that we approve a check from the Park and Rec Board to Duncannon Fire Department for their assisting in the chicken barbecue.
I'll second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes have it, so ordered.
Thank you. And June 15th will be our next senior lunch. And August 15th, we are working on a community day / yard sale / craft sale with a concession stand open and vendors.
You mean June 19th? June 19th.
June 19th, yes,
Yeah.
I said
You said 15th.
Oh, 19th, 19th.
The 19th, it's on a Friday.
So if anybody is interested on having a space, it's $10.
Okay, Penn Township Municipal Authority.
You received the letter from the authority asking us for the action be taken to prohibit discharge of sewage from any structure on the subject property until connection has been made to the authority system. No, MW2.
Okay, talked to Solicitor Wagner about that, and his response was, Helen?
Send them a letter for 10 days to hook up and
There you are.
proceed with further action.
Okay, you send them a letter, they get 10 days to hook up, or they're going to proceed with legal action against them down there to tie into the sewer system. Needs to be done.
Okay.
I make that motion.
Motion made. I'll second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay? Okay.
I'll copy you
That's all we
guys.
have on that. Secretary's report, split system.
Okay, I got the quotes for the split systems. Mahoney's and Comfort Tech gave us two options for this room, either 15K or 18K BTUs. Earth Energy gave us just 15Ks for this room. They were the idea that just come in and turn it on early and it'll cool down enough to keep everyone cool in the summer.
Okay, you have the quotes before you. There was a discrepancy as whether there's going to be any difference putting it on the roof or hanging them on the wall right here.
Not with Mahoney's.
And not with Mahoney, no problem at all. They're same price, you know. My recommendation was that you take the extra 2,000 BTUs of cooling for in this room. And that was the one that I recommended you go with and stay with the other one over there. I put a personal window unit in over there for the girls and it's doing a good job, by golly, till we get these units in here to keep them cool over there. And that's only a 10,000 BTU and it's doing a pretty good job over there.
Yeah, for the office or everyone recommended 12K.
It was unbearable a couple of days, so we got temporary heat and temporary cooling in over there. What is the wish of the board to approve the split system contract in order to get the new air and get the new system in here?
Once approved, how long will it take for them to get in here to do it?
I just call and set a date, and
It's here.
and I'm hoping mid-June at the latest.
Yeah, they're pretty good at. They were on the other ones anyhow.
Yes. And all three of them told me that it would be the next generation up for those, from that. They improved. Oh, you got yours too early.
Those seem to be working good down there. They've cut our propane costs, they've cut our electric costs. These units up on the roof, 25 years old. It's time that we don't spend the money on the necessary repairs to put them back in service.
Yeah.
There were a couple issues. There were a couple issues and they came immediately and took care of everything.
Took care of it right.
Yeah.
What's all the units down there?
Mahoney.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. Do you want the 15 or the 18 in here? 18 will cover 30 to 50 people in this size room to keep them cool and comfortable.
That was my recommendation, that we take the larger unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the BTUs for in there.
That's going to cover both rooms.
No, you'll have two separate.
Two separate units.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll have individual
18,
control.
yeah, it'd be 18 in here and 12
in.
in ours, in the office.
Pardon?
It'd be 12 in the office and 18 in here.
And days when nobody in here, you don't need to run it. It's saving, but the one up above runs for both times.
All the time.
All the time, all the time.
Except for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
So do you wish to have a separate motion for the conference room in the office, or you want to combine motions?
Either way will do the job. Whether you want a separate motion or a motion for both of them, unless you only want to do one of them.
I move that we approve the Mahoney's Plumbing and Heating bid for the 12K BTU for the office at $3,400 and the 18K BTU unit at $3,775 for the conference room.
Okay.
Okay, motion made.
A second.
Second, all those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes, I think we're a couple of dollars out of budget on that, but very close, Helen.
Very close.
Very close.
$175 close.
Planned for last year to try to get that done.
Yeah. With this, I was asked a question from Comfort Tech. They do our maintenance right now. They wanted to know if we wanted to add these cleaning, the filters and everything on all the 4 units onto their contract or not. They come in and do the maintenance on the top roofs ones.
Go ahead. I'd like to talk to them about it because the maintenance on these
shouldn't be much.
It's just a little simple filter out on the front. That's the only thing that there is to.
Yeah. And that just has to be cleaned up every other month or something like that, he was saying.
Other than that, it would be warranty work for a while.
Well, we do have warranty work.
Yeah, the warranty work
it would be
for a
warranty
while,
for a while, and And
Yeah.
until then, nothing's gonna go wrong.
Until you
Yeah.
can, yeah, you can take a look at it later on, but in my opinion, not now.
Okay.
Eventually, they won't have any maintenance work on up here if you follow through with the program to replace all of them in the building.
2 more years and hopefully, 2 more years and hopefully that'll be done.
Yeah, that's right, 2 more years and that should be done if you follow through in the budget on it. Okay?
Okay. The next thing was the research of charging residents. I checked with PSATs. I cannot find any ordinances that charge fees for the landowner for an SEO investigation of malfunctions. The closest thing I found was an ordinance that when the property changes ownership, that they are pumped and then the property owner would do. Then I gave you that language in there. And also gave you the SEO's fee schedule. So you got an idea what he charges. So as Rich said, we probably would have to write one up ourselves if we wish to do this.
Yeah. You can send them out to look at my septic tank any way you want, but don't send me a bill. If you don't find nothing wrong. You're gonna have to, if you wanna do that, you're gonna have to take people, dig them up. You're gonna have to open them up, and get in them, and the whole 9 yards. If the board wishes to do that, you can proceed. And I can tell you it's not, I don't know how you can do it.
At this point here, I don't think, with the knowledge that's been given,
But, yeah.
there's no need to pursue it. If it's working the way it's working, if the properties get sold, it's part of the sale deal that they get inspected at that time.
Most mortgage companies require that.
Exactly. So I don't think we need to pursue that at this time here. We have it as is. If there any issue arises in the future, then we have to address it at that time.
Okay?
Next.
Edna?
Okay, this is a life and disability that's given to all full-timers. When I did this, when I took over the job, supervisors were on the plans. I just continued that. When they changed from trustees to Aetna, the plan stated that it was supposed to be for personnel that work 15 hours or more. So after I talked to the people on the plan, I was going to cancel as I was told to. PSATs then informed me that supervisors are permitted on this plan. And that this came up in numerous townships. I need to know if you guys wish to stay on the plans or not. Total cost for both would be $490.32 a year. The disability is $340.20 for all 3 of you. And the life would be $150.12.
You don't need to waste your money on me.
I just need to know if you want to be on them or not.
Put it before the other 2 board supervisors.
As for me, I have those coverages through work. Number 2, most importantly, that it's an added expense to the taxpayers of the township, and I don't want to put that burden on them. So, for me, I don't wish to participate.
Okay.
I concur.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's what I needed. And the last thing I have is you received the audit, I put it in your boxes, from the Duncan Fire Company. I need to know if you wish to have the first part of the donation of $40,000 paid in June or not.
Okay. And how much is the second portion?
25.
Okay, and that comes December,
October,
November.
around October. Yeah, October, and then you're November.
I'd like to make the motion that we go ahead and cut the check for the first part of the donation to the Duncan Fire Department in the amount of $40,000 for the June donation.
Motion made, do I hear a second?
Question on the motion is $40,000 is part of the total donation for the
Yes,
year?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
I second the motion.
Okay, motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
End of month or payroll?
Pardon?
End of month or payroll, doesn't matter to us. You want the check cut with payroll or end of month?
Like to keep it consistent at the same time every year.
Okay, end of month.
Wish the board, okay?
Yes, just keep it the same
Keep-
way.
End of month.
Yeah, we okay with that, Brian? Yep. Okay, there we are.
And that's all I have.
Okay. Engineers report, Max?
I have nothing beyond what we already talked about, those couple of items.
Okay.
They're pretty minor.
Okay, pretty minor, okay. I'll thank you for that. Police report for you?
Get a copy of the police report with you.
Excuse me, Pickle, before I go. So excuse Max if you don't have anything else.
I don't know unless you have something you want me here going.
No, I'll get those transit shots for you on the slope and the pitch over there, see whether we get 1 or 2% of
Great.
what we need over there and get them back to you
Right.
for the counts, okay?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
And if you wish to leave,
I will leave.
okay.
Get out of the air conditioning.
Okay, police report.
We did hire another officer after the last meeting. He's in field training now. We are losing, I think, 2 more officers next month. So we are in the process of looking for candidates for interviews. So we can upgrade the nothing new, everything, our grants were completed successfully. About it, really, and everything's on the report there, what we were doing.
How things there at Delville Road with the garbage?
Yeah, that's sort of.
It's there again today.
Really, I haven't.
There's a big pile down there. There's a pile down there
I
today.
didn't see it today. No.
Yeah.
Then I'll have night shift go down there and check. Now, we've cited quite a few people, and they're slowly dissipating anyway. I didn't see it for a long time, but,
Did Gamber put up a sign?
not that I know of yet, no. He said he was going to.
Sure. That might help you.
Yeah.
Might not, too.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about break-ins neighboring communities. Has that subsided, or is that still going on?
Yeah, in fact, I just talked to one of Marysville officers earlier today. And that's everywhere.
Like from Liverpool
Yeah,
down.
it's everywhere. That's not just. Everybody needs to be diligent to make sure they, lock their doors, and it's a lot of times it's a crime of opportunity too. There's also been some phone calls, people calling for alarm systems. Asking if you have an alarm system. First of all, don't answer this question. Yeah, you have an alarm system? No. Click, it's like, gee, and then they'll call, and you don't answer the phone, then they know you're not home. We've had all.
I just wondered whether that's still pretty active, or if.
Well, it goes in spurts, and it's, like I said, that's everywhere. It's up and down. And as they catch groups that are doing it, a lot of times it's roving. Now it'll be in the maintenance season, so you'll get people wanting to do your driveways with gasoline and make it all shiny for a little while for backing them up. But definitely call if there's anything suspicious or anybody suspicious or not.
Anything else in the police report? Hearing none. Solicitor's report already been taken care of and left. Permit report before you.
Yep.
Okay.
Nothing major other than Lee and Mr. Trout got their permits down for along 1115. They got their certificate occupancies.
Yeah.
He's ice cream man, Mr. Trout.
We've dealt with the fry.
Yep.
1115th Rock Slope here. They got the emergency management meeting yet to do. Rarely is it that I've met with a contractor that showed the congeniality, wanting to work with you down here and making sure that they're not doing anything wrong down here within the township. And
They're sure not gonna be able to hide anything.
no, they're sure not, Jesse. And the thing of it is, I was sitting there talking to them, we had quite a rap down there with them because they ended up, they're from Pittsburgh. And some of the contractors I worked with over the year were from Pittsburgh, Snyder and Showers and whatnot. They were well familiar with them. So they're construction people trying to get a job done. And they realize there's going to be some difficulties. Their big concern was that they have complaints and whatnot. Please don't hide them, bury them, come talk to them about them.
Yeah, I don't.
He put his cards right here.
Yeah.
I had a long conversation with them today.
Oh,
also,
yeah.
so
I really think that they're going to be okay working with us down here.
answer any questions or.
Yep.
How is the line of communication going to go between them and the, when there's an emergency response?
Yeah, I gave them my cell number and the cell numbers of the officers that'll be on duty. What we'll do is coordinate something that obviously if we can get down there first, you know, if you're coming from the borough or if you're going that way and not going the other way, you know, let us know. We can get down and open it up first and work it that way. The same with you guys. You know.
As of today, though, they still didn't have a date with meeting with PennDOT.
It was supposed to be today.
It
was supposed to be canceled.
And now they'd like to start Monday. They'd like to have that done either tomorrow or Friday, but they haven't heard anything from PennDOT. And so they just weren't ready to do the meeting the other day, or that had already been done in place.
And really, I believe if there's not a closure,
yeah,
it's not tremendous affect for us.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So. Okay. The Tracy Black thing was done, issued with taken care of under Rich. Old Business Act 457 plan.
Yes. That's whether you guys wish to participate or not.
Okay, that's a voluntarily thing. The two road crew boys did not wish to part of it, but if they wish to enact that, put that plan in place for those that do.
We have to do a couple of things, yeah.
You have to do a couple of things. So what's the wish of the board?
I'll make the motion that we accept the Act 457 plan as a benefit option to those employees that wish to participate.
Okay.
Okay, motion made, I'll second.
Question? You're going to offer it to part-timers also, or just full-timers?
Well, in this day and age, there's a lot of benefits being offered to part-timers. What defines part-time? Under Obamacare, anything 30 hours or more is considered full-time.
Full-time.
So,
Vesting on, excuse me, Brian, vesting on one for the meeting just for all the service, how many years?
For the Act 457?
Yeah.
Immediately.
Immediately, say.
So there's no vesting. It's all contribution from the employee except for a one-year fee, and I believe
What I'm trying to get to tell now.
and it's the township one-year fee for this depends on how many are active in it.
Active in it, that's correct.
Yeah.
And they'll be invested under their terms at the present time right there. And
Yes, if you guys decide to keep the pension plan as is, it'll be the same way.
and then in the future, if we decided to do something with the pension plan, doing a payout, they can then reinvest that in
If they wish
their
to.
own
Yeah,
or a
or
nest.
someone else,
Right.
yeah.
But right now, according to PSATs and our pension plan is secure. It's very solid.
Yes, our plans are solid.
so motion made with a second.
But my question wasn't answered.
Pardon?
Oh, it's part-time.
Part-timers are going to be authorized or not?
It's the wish of the board.
That's what I'm asking.
I wouldn't have a problem with the part-timers, if we're gonna pay a fee, the part-timers be eligible to contribute from their pay into the Act 457 plan.
Okay.
Difference with the part-timers or without it, how on fee?
It depends on how many would agree to do it.
How many agree to do it?
Yeah.
You don't have a schedule?
Oh, yeah, I do. I just got to find my
Okay.
little thing here. I know. I thought I brought my 57 folder. Holding tanks. donor, there's that. Oh, there it is. I knew I had it. Okay, it wasn't that one, it was on this. It would be, 5 and less, it would be $200 per year. 5 to 10, $250, more than 10, $350 a year.
Your
That's
numbers are numbers of employees?
employees that are active in it.
Whether full-time or part-time,
Correct.
just employees generally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You heard the numbers, what we should do.
Well, we have a motion. Are you going to amend your motion or you want to leave it as is?
We amend the motion to include part-time employees.
Motion's been amended to include part-time employees. Motion made, do I hear a second?
You did.
Okay. Seconded that. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes have it. So
Okay,
we'll
and
go
with,
back to play.
and with that, I'd like to get approval for ACH transfers of the money over to them, so we could get the lower amount.
Okay. Make a motion, we grant Helen permission to make those transfers.
I second the motion.
Motion made with a second, all those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
I'll get with Diane and get going on everything else. Revised website. Come here, Revise, I know you're in here. This is that website I was telling you about, whether to consider putting money in the budget to update it. And you wanted to have some dates where you can go through the presentation? Well, they did. They have June 3rd, June 4th, or the week of the 8th at 3 o'clock. Basically, you'd have to come in and watch the presentation on the monitor, and someone will be talking live with you.
What was those dates, honey?
June 3rd or 4th, next Wednesday or Thursday, or the week of the 8th. And preferably not the 9th.
Do we have a time?
3 p.m. I was trying to think of your guys' schedules.
Or the 8th?
Yeah, the 8th, well, the 8th, 10th, 11th, 12th.
The week of the 8th.
Yeah. It'll run about a half hour, 45 minutes, something like that.
I prefer the 3rd or the 4th.
Okay.
Either one of those dates work for me.
4th on Thursday?
Wednesday or Thursday next
Wednesday or
week?
Thursday next week.
I can make that.
Thursday?
Yeah, can't make it Friday.
No, I told them no Fridays.
No, I can't make that. Okay, 3rd or the 4th?
Well, these two can do the
Ron, you
4th.
said the 3rd work best for you, correct?
No, I said 3rd or the 4th.
Oh, 3rd or 4th, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, 4th,
Is that agreed?
Yes.
3 p.m. I'll set it up.
Okay.
Is that open to the public?
It has to be. It's
Is
not
that
a,
going to give us enough time to advertise? Do we have to advertise it?
oh shit, yes. Yeah, we have to advertise it. Okay, no, that won't be enough.
Do we advertise as a workshop?
It still has to be advertised. Let me think here. Let me think.
The reason I asked about being open to the public is if the people who use it would be interested in seeing how it's set up. More so than anything else.
Well, yeah, we'll be in there. I've already sat through it once. Let me see here. So this is the 27th. I could put it in the Patriot. I can get it in the Patriot. I'd have to get it in the Sunday.
Tell them what the cost is advertising.
That'll be about $50 for that one.
Are you sure?
That's normally because I make it as small as possible.
Sergeant Mission.
Either that or we put it down the next week, if possible, and I can get in the record.
Checking that because I know Cliff put an
Oh,
advertisement in for it, and it was terrible.
That was $700, yes.
$700.
Decided against.
Yeah.
Yes.
Terrible, terrible. They'll knock you, Stanley.
Yeah, we ran some ads there. I had a couple heart attacks.
That's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, normally I keep it
I-
about like this, and it's been averaging
If
50.
you got a time frame there, I'd do it,
So-
do it your local
So is it
paper.
possible the 11th, Brian?
I prefer earlier in the week if it's going to be.
That's fine.
this week.
Oh, well, yeah, I can. We got
Um,
8th, 10th?
I have the 9th, or 9th's a working day for me,
Okay.
Tuesday the 9th.
You can get that in the record.
I can get that in the record.
How about for you, Henry? The ninth?
Yeah, that'd be okay.
3 o'clock still good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the ordinance for the reporters, renter reporting ordinance. Rich has reviewed this, he said it was okay. So all I would need is advertisement if you guys are happy.
Okay, I make a motion that we give Helen permission to advertise that ordinance.
I second.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes have it, so ordered.
Okay, and the last thing I have is at the meeting on the 14th, I brought up to you guys about Alicia Himes wanting to have a bouncing thing over here on the 14th. Our insurance will cover us. What Robin suggested is that we get their insurance to put us as naming on it. They will do this, but they want her to put down a deposit on it first, and she wants to make sure she can have it before she puts the money down. We can have that, she said, in 2 days, 2 to 3 days, and it's not until the 14th.
Are they gonna secure that?
They have to. I would assume they have to.
What was it, Florida?
Yeah, the one that.
Yeah.
That was secured, it just blew away.
So again, Derek, the lady's insurance will cover it.
The company's insurance will cover it.
The company that's renting the.
Yes. And they would put us on their insurance policy for, their insurance, so that we're covered also with it. So if something happens, their insurance will be first hit. And then if something, well, you know how insurance companies are, they'll come after us, and we're covered under our insurance. But she just doesn't want to put down the money until she knows if she can have the bouncing, whatever it's called.
I'd like to see that insurance agreement.
I know, but she'd have to put she has to put a deposit down. And then if she cancels it, she loses her deposit.
When's the event again?
The 14th, June. Possible to see it conditional on getting it?
But now my question is, when they're using the baseball fields, and we require them to have insurance, does that relieve us of any responsibility?
We would just be secondary if someone sued. That's what happens. If someone got hurt and supposedly the team's insurance or the league's insurance is first, yes, they still can come after us. We're just secondary.
Well, we live in a litigious society, and I'm not in favor if we have any exposure of having the bouncy on township property.
I'm in agreement, just in the environment that we have today. I hate to deny kids fun, but poor kid.
Henry, here's a chance out of your farm to take them down there and let them bounce around your farm.
Yeah, well, I'm in the process with insurance problems with that very same thing myself, Jesse.
You can bounce for free.
You know what I'm saying?
Look at a dunking tank up at Motion Balls and put Stan in it.
Motion to
Free
that.
supervisor.
Yeah.
Hey, you can raise money.
Make a fortune.
I move we deny the what's the?
Motion made, I'll second. All those in favor,
Whatever it's called.
saying aye by denying.
Okay.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Okay.
That's the last I have.
Okay. New business. Nothing underneath new business. I do have one thing underneath new business that I would like to. Most recently, I'm going to address this to Mr. Warner there. I heard on the monitor one day of a bad accident, running all over the place and making decisions as to where to land a chopper. access to it. I would like to talk to you, or what the requirements are, what there would be. I got 2,400-foot field there that I put my airplane in and out. You know, wires, prevailing winds are out of the west, which is ideal for landing coming down there, to see what maybe I can help somebody out there that they can come there and have access to it right there, a good place to pull in, a good place to park right off the road. Close to 11 and 15. Just a thought. If you're interested, get a hold of me. If not, I mentioned it to them. I mean, they were shifting all around the places, hunting for a place to put a bird.
That morning, they wanted to come here.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you know, why don't we just, the wreck was on 322 at Watts exit.
Yeah.
So, you know, they just get off and come out 849 to the Otterbein Church ball field. We've landed the helicopter there numerous times.
But if something happens down 1115 down there,
yeah, we usually go to the school.
Go to school if you have a
spot. Down the Cove, you know everything. I mean, that's a great suggestion. Yep.
If there's ever a need, you feel that you don't have the proper place, by golly, don't be afraid to say something to me out there regarding.
I think we've actually landed them at the airport out here once too.
Yeah. So I just
we're aware of a lot of places. Just a matter of which I didn't want to come here because it was daylight hours. Usually we come here either overnight or
anytime
evening.
you would need that down there, set them down.
Yeah, the objective with the helicopter is to not get off of our route to the hospital.
Yeah, I understand that.
So coming from 322,
yeah.
So the Penn Township office is a bit of a diversion. Not that the Otterbein Church wasn't,
okay.
But the alternate landing zone sites that Lifeline has established for Perry County are the Lions Club field or Lions Club building in Marysville and the ballpark in Dolphin off of the 225 or 225 exit. Because they're established zones, they're zones that are already in their system for access. They looked at Clark's Ferry and they can use Clark's Ferry either on the highway or in the parking lot, but the concern both in the parking lot and the tank farm is debris, stones being kicked up and actually caught in the rotors of the aircraft.
And actually that what Craig's saying about the tank farm, the old tank farm up along 322, 11 and 15, that is designated an emergency landing zone for weather. Because if they have weather coming in, they can navigate to that point.
It's much easier off of the river
yeah.
close to the road.
Yeah, so they can navigate there in adverse weather.
Just an offer that I heard, that's all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Having nothing else on new business? Yes, Joe?
Can I say one thing, please?
Yeah, quick.
It will be very quick. Sorry about, I wasn't planning on coming this evening, but I was in the middle of baseball practice this evening with my son. My employee called me and said I should probably come down here, so I come down here to make sure that everybody knows some accusations that may have been brought up this evening about myself are completely false. I was no way in shape going to punch Mr. Benner at all. I had a meeting scheduled there with PP&L. I met PP&L there. Mr. Benner did approach me, but then he walked away to his house. Then he came back and talked to the PP&L representative afterwards, so nothing happened.
Thank you, Joe.
No.
I've coached baseball 9 years and I've never touched anybody, so I mean, you get pretty heated up when you coach baseball. Okay?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Motion made with second. All those in favor, give their consent by saying aye. Ayes have it. So